All right, y'all. We about to get into it, man. Definitely about to have some fun, man. Chill. But we about to listen to this shit, man. But these are just normal people, though. I mean, but this is how we deal with these globers that think they smart. Let's get into it. Excuse my voice a little bit. You gonna change. Oh boy.
Oh, hold on, until let him
There you
finish.
go. Let's go.
Go ahead, dude.
Also, because I notice a lot of people when they think like in a very conspiratorial way, they think like, oh well, these people are trying to like hide this from us because they don't want us to know X, Y, Z. Do you believe that?
All right, we about to play some Dynasty. though.
It's
We
not
do
about
this, though.
them
Let's
hiding
get
it from you. It's about you believing that it's what narrative they've told you. So essentially, you're getting in your own way. They're not doing anything. They, in quotations, they are not doing anything. You are getting in your own way. So you're not allowing yourself to understand truth because you believe a narrative that's been told to you. So you're getting in your own. You are the problem. You're getting in your own way. You need to
the problem.
move out of the way so you can let yourself.
So to you, because I said like I know it's like a lot of people in this, it's more philosophical than scientific. Do you believe that this is more of an issue of, I guess, being a free thinker than just like trying to find like?
It definitely, yeah, it definitely is. It contributes to the fact that the reason why you have these gaps of knowledge. I was telling the other guy, right? The reason why you have gaps of knowledge like that you don't understand is because they've given you this narrative that don't worry, we have our top scientists working on it, and so you've given like all of your mind to those guys. I'm like, look, they've done all the research, they've did everything that needs to be done. All I need to do is trust the information.
Okay.
And so this is the problem, right? Because and imagine you not being able to use your mind for what it was meant for, and that's to process. And Phil, now thinking has become a chore, right? Oh, do I have to think about it? I just want to click a few Google keystrokes and I'll know the information. So this has become the issue, right? No research is done, no follow-up questions. It's just a bunch of mindless drones, like parroting other things that people say. When you are not, they've taken away individuality. You are now just a clone of some other guy, parroting some other. You know what I'm saying? There's no individual like perspective. Like, let me think about this, right? There's nothing of that. So that's why I'm saying, like, this is kind of like people right now. I'm on a soapbox. Sorry about that, but it's like you're in a cage and we have the key. We're handing it to you. It's called think for yourself, right? And all you gotta do is simple, man. Is just say, okay, let me listen to what you guys have to say. We'll lay it out for you, and then you don't have to like, oh, dude, you guys are wrong, man. You guys are flat out idiots. You have to do any of that. All you gotta do is say, all right, let me just chew on that for a bit. You know, I might come back, I might not, but you don't have to be so like, abrasive about it. You can just, hear our position.
Here's the thing. I completely.
Well, no, you get packets of information, and there's a packet of information come back to you as data pointers, and so you can actually know how to conduct the business.
All right, so Alpha Red Diamond, I think is your name. Well,
Yeah, I know.
do you have any questions about any of the topics that we talk about in here?
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, like I said, I've been in the server since like goddamn like the early 2021, but I just don't come in because I don't use Discord. But like, let me think. I completely empathize and understand where you're coming from. I guess especially because I guess you may feel like a lot of people don't really use their mind. Like I guess you feel like the Earth's like, well, not the Earth, but like society is like lost its individuality. Which like I say, I used to think that, and I completely understand, and I still agree to an extent. The thing is, it's like I feel like there comes to a point where you should like, how do I say this? For example, okay, I know this is unrelated to Flat Earth. I know we're in the Flat Earth channel, but just a bit off topic. Okay, how do you feel about Anthony Fauci? This question, because that's
the guy.
Yeah, the guy.
I guess I really don't have an opinion on the guy. I mean, there's a lot of things that people said in the media about him, but I'm not a big like Fauci debunker or Fauci like follower, if that means anything. I don't.
Yeah,
this is just completely off topic and going.
I know it's off topic.
Who has? Is it your body and my choice, or my choice and your body, or which is it?
I just want to know where he's going with it. I don't know if he's going somewhere with his point.
I know. No, I'm like let me cook. So basically, what I was trying to say is that a lot of people back in 2020, I guess, like, especially like more on the conservative side, I guess, even though this really isn't like a political thing, this is more of like a philosophical thing, like I say. It's like I noticed like a lot of people like be upset and be like, oh, people aren't thinking for themselves. People are just like, just take the shot. And I guess it's the same logic applied to this. But at the same time, it's like, it comes to a point where it's like, I don't get mad at flat earthers because I understand where they're coming from. But it's like, there is like proof.
No,
So it's like,
there isn't. And the reason why any of us are here is because there is an alpha. I'm gonna let Jedi come through because he's trying to get through.
I want to know where he thinks we're coming from.
What do you say? When you say where I think? Okay, I feel. I personally feel that you guys think, I guess, that in a way, I guess like the overall, like I guess whatever like higher ups that there are, I guess basically like trying to feed you a narrative, and in sense inherent, like I guess feeding this narrative, they're trying to like they want to control you, or I guess like they want you to just like think how they want you to think.
Well, it's not so much. Yeah, it's not so much. Yeah, it's not so much people. I think it's the information that controls you. Because nobody's out there saying, conspiring against you in like a conference room. I always put the scenario to you guys. They're not like with robes and like, how are we gonna get Alpha Red Diamond today? What do you think, guys? There's nothing like that. There's no boogeyman out there. The information is the boogeyman, because you're proceeding to have a choice to believe in the narrative. Every day you wake up is a new day, right? It's a new day, new way, new perspective. You can wake up and say, okay, let's do this day right. Let me make good choices, right? But when you're presented with choices, like whether or not you can trust information, you don't know how to critically think about it. So you're just like, I'll just take that as a, whatever. It's a globe. So there's no real, like, they don't have to fight you on it. So the information. So I'll just go along with it for now.
Maybe I should ask my question in a different way. Why do flat earthers, my friend, say that the earth is flat?
Well,
why do you say this?
I guess they would feel that. Let me see. Let me try to see if I can understand your logic. So here's the thing. I've heard multiple ways of the Earth. So do you think that the Earth's like flat and there's like a dome around the Earth, and I guess like you could just fall off the Earth, or do you think like?
Dude, I'll be patient with you, but I need you to think about the question I'm asking. I don't know. But why do us flat earthers say that the Earth is flat? Why do we say this?
What do you think? You know what? I'll sit here and I'll admit defeat and I'll say that I don't know. So educate me.
Awesome stuff. We say that the Earth is flat because it's observed, measured, and practically used as flat. Flat meaning laying horizontally. So mean sea level of water is a horizontal reference datum. It's observed to lay horizontally when contained and at rest. It's measured to lay horizontally when contained and at rest. And it's used for leveling devices when contained and at rest. So the surface of the Earth, which is primarily water, when observed, measured and practically used, is a horizontal flat plane. That's why we say the Earth is flat, because it's measured that way and used that way. Sorry to interrupt, Alpha.
No, I'm letting him stew on what you just said. There's information. He can go into each one of those points and actually demonstrate a few things if you actually like him to go farther. Because it's for us, we've been doing it a while, so we don't want to overwhelm you, because there's a level, right, of where it becomes overwhelming, too much information, and then you just like it starts falling off. So I think a little bit at a time is good, right?
Okay. So here's the thing. Okay. I can't really be here too long, but okay. How about this? Elaborate a little further.
Well, look, Jedi, if he wants to, which point, whether or not the Earth is observed as flat, or it measures as flat, or it's practically used as flat, which one of those points?
How it's measured as flat.
Okay.
Okay, so water, for example, we understand this is the primary surface of the Earth. We can measure the surface of water. In actual fact, we use water as a leveling device to find horizontal. But we can measure the surface of water by using certain devices. One would be long-distance observations. One would be laser transits, for example, light propagation from one laser device to a target over distance. We can use ultra-high frequency radio signals, for example, microwave signals, radio signals, basically any type of propagation which is going to end up at a target over a distance. So we can measure over the surface of water by using surveying technology, and when we survey the Earth, we survey it as horizontal. We don't measure curvature.
And so we don't. Okay.
Yeah, it's also in celestial navigation as well, measuring angles to Polaris, and if you have an angle, you're going to have two straight lines, which means that one of the lines would be the baseline. The baseline, which would be the floor, you'd have to measure as a horizontal plane in order to get an angle, because that's the only way you could get an angle if you had two straight lines. You can't have a curved surface and then acquire an angle. It wouldn't be possible.
Okay. So, how do I do this? I'm not gonna say that I didn't comprehend what you said, because I did. But let me bring up another point. Okay. So here's something that you probably heard a bunch. I'm gonna ask you about this. I'm very curious about this. So you know how basically, okay, obviously humans, obviously, like, you know, we view the Earth, you know, like through, I guess, our vision, right? So if the Earth was not curved at all, do you not think that we'd probably be able to like see a much greater distance than we already are able to?
No.
Explain that.
We can see as far as we can see. Depending on the technology that we use, high-powered zoom cameras changing the wavelength of light from the visible spectrum into infrared, we can see really, really far. So if you're asking why can't we see forever, like somebody asked, why can't I see the Eiffel Tower from New York? We're going to have to deal with the limitation of optics and the amount of atmosphere that we're looking for. Because we understand the distance, the atmosphere becomes opaque, not transparent. So the light is going to get diffuse and we're not going to be able to see it. So there's multiple reasons why we can't see from one side of the Earth to the other. But in all practical sense and purposes, when we measure the Earth vast distances, then we measure the Earth to lay horizontally.
There's a lot to unpack, but you have to take it in stride, Alfred.
Hey bro, Jedi, right?
Yes, mate. What's up?
I'm gonna send you a friend request, bro.
Sorry, say that again, mate. I didn't hear you correctly.
No, I was gonna send you a friend request.
Oh, cool. Awesome stuff, man. Yeah, I like that.
Interesting. I'm actually gonna, like, here's the thing. I gotta go to bed because I gotta wake up early in the morning. But I will actually look into this further.
Awesome stuff.
No problem, man.
What I'll do is I'll also send you a link to our home server as well.
Okay, yeah. Alright. You guys have a good night, alright?
Cheers, man. Take care.
Yeah, man. What's up, AI?
Are y'all still doing questions or no?
Yeah.
Alright, I have two things. Okay. I'm not really well educated just like on this type of math or like this whole like, you know, flat earth thing in general. But if there is someone you want to debate, I think you muted him because I think he was off your TikTok on this one, you didn't realize, but Paranoid Sigma, what you call it, like he's been in DMs like telling me like how this is like pretty much like saying
Yeah, well, yeah, we got this. Yeah, we got it.
also I have another thing.
Yeah, but before you go on, well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna unmute him and allow him to ask his questions. But what I want you to remember is, don't say anything. I just want you to sit back and listen to what happens with the interaction between us and him. Okay? But go ahead and ask your other question.
All right. So how do you guys like perceive like how does this whole flat Earth relate to you? Like, how do you perceive the world?
Yeah,
what does it look like? Like a map? What does it look like?
No. Oh, map. I mean, like, how do we see it as people? I was gonna say, just as you see it when you. Hello?
Hold on, my computer's speaking. Hold on.
Okay. You guys are coming through there. No, I mean, perception is exactly how you would perceive it with your senses. If you're trying to give us like get us to admit like what type of map or model, I think that's probably the question that you're asking.
Yeah.
There's no like particular model of the entirety of the Earth, because that's an unknown. The entirety of the Earth is an unknown. Nobody can model that out for you as a entire flat Earth world. That's never been done. It's not going to be done.
So then, like, how do like planes fly and shit, man?
Well, planes fly, because of avionics, right?
Yeah, but how do they know where they're going? Is what I'm trying to say.
How do they know where they're going?
Yeah, if they don't have a basic map.
I don't. What do you mean? Oh, they're using local charts, man. They're not. Okay, so what pilots use when they fly a plane, they're not using world maps. They're utilizing charts, and they're using headings to go to navigate to wherever they're going to head to. So they're not utilizing a world map. I think that's probably the thing. Planning the flights that they're going to take, they can utilize a world map in that way, planning for the thing, but they're not going to utilize it in the process of flying the plane.
But if they were to use that world map, what would it look like? Like from what I think, you're saying like it's not there or whatever. It's like not all there.
Yeah. They use whatever. I think it's the Mercator projection is the one that's widely used. Have you seen the one on timeanddate.com? It's like a square map. It's like a square world map.
Man, I'm
timeanddate.com.
failing with this dude.
Do you see it?
Hold on, give me a second. Dude, my PC's been bugging lately. Just like keeps disconnecting. .com.
Yep.
Alright, hold
It's
on.
you that's been bugging.
No, what do I just search up map?
Yeah. Well, no. It's just gonna show you in the background, like the way the sun moves across the Earth. With that map, and that specific map is a square map.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
You see it? Yeah, that one. Yeah, that map. They plan flights on that map.
Yeah. So is this how you perceive? Is this how like you guys perceive the world?
No. What I'm saying is, when they're planning their flights, they use that map. And and according to how you would think they should be using it, they would have to be a globe. So, question is, why don't they just do that? Use a globe. I know the answer, but I'll tell you. Yeah. Why is it that?
Well, I know what you call it. They don't just fuck them stuff. They don't go in like a straight line. They just like it's like a little like upward curve.
Yeah, I know. I know, but what I'm saying is, why don't they use a globe?
Because they could do that to simulate the what you call it, the spearness of the globe. Yeah,
or so you think, right?
Well, that's what I do think.
Yeah. Or so you think. So the challenge is, if it is a globe, indeed, then there would be some measurements to solidify that it actually is. So that's the conversation that we're gonna have with the person you want us to unmute. So they're gonna they're gonna provide the empirical evidence, and you'll get to hear them actually lay it out for you if there's any. That'll be a treat for you, right?
Yeah. All right. Just what you call it. I'm not really educated on this. I know he is.
Cool.
So.
That's cool. Yeah, let him actually take the brunt of answering some questions that we have for him, and let's see if he can sufficiently answer them, and then maybe satisfy your curiosity, or maybe make it more curious. Who knows? We'll just see. Okay, so we got Paranoid is in the house. Go ahead, Paranoid.
Yo, what's up? All right.
You have some questions. We do too. So how about this? How about a fair exchange of questions? Maybe I'll let you answer or ask some questions, and then we'll answer you honestly. We ask some questions. You answer honestly. Is that fair?
All right. Yeah. That's good.
Go ahead.
Let's do this.
All right. I like mostly what I want to know is like the evidence that you guys have for like the Earth being flat.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to know like what is your guys' evidence for the Earth being flat?
Oh, I can point to one really quick. A horizon. A horizon on the Earth displays no convexity.
But doesn't the horizon exist because of the Earth?
Of course.
because of its being round, or
Sphericity?
You've gone past your simple initial question.
No, because if it was curving, curvature would be detected and then measured, and that's not the case. We don't detect curvature, nor do we measure it on a horizon.
no, but the horizon exists because the Earth is round.
No. Oh, that's false.
Doesn't exist
That's
because
false.
of the limitation of optics. Horizon is an optical phenomenon. It only exists in your eyes. It's due to perspective, the limitation of view across the surface, and where the limitation of view appears to meet the sky.
Alright, I guess. Okay. I also wanna know,
Well, hold on
well,
a
that
second,
was
dude.
the-
You
that
don't,
was
you don't
one
seem like you
question.
understood what hold on, he doesn't, okay, just think about it logically. The horizon is where the sky appears to meet the ground, right?
yeah.
Okay. Now, it doesn't, if you didn't see a horizon, that means you wouldn't see the ground and the sky at the same time. You would be all sky or all ground, right?
Wait, say that again.
There's a
My
dividing
mic
line
cut out.
between the sky and the ground. You have to see all of one or all of the other, right?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, obviously. This is logic. It doesn't matter what surface you're on. There'll always be a horizon. You'd be on a fucking pretzel. There'd still be sky above you, ground below you. You'll see a dividing line that separates them.
Yeah, but the horizon is the horizon's the line, right? Right?
Yeah, where the sky appears to meet the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Or sea. But
yeah. Hold on. All right.
Go ahead,
So what does the horizon like is for you guys? Is it like the end?
Well,
the end for
that's another question that you're asking. And
That's okay.
see, we were supposed to ask you a question.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
You asked a question, now we ask a question.
Yeah, I was gonna I will let you ask one more leading question. I'm actually fair that way because I know that you're new to the topic and we know a lot, we have extensive knowledge. So I just want you to feel comfortable enough to say, okay, now I'll answer your question. But I want you to finish up your question. That's 2 questions though. Just to remind you, I'm gonna go ahead and let you finish your question.
Yeah. So is like the horizon the end for the flat Earth that you guys say?
No,
It is not the end.
no, it's the limitation of view across the surface where the sky appears to meet the floor. I just
So
explained that.
that's all that we
Yeah.
can see.
Yeah, but if you
Okay,
keep
but what
walking
if you-
forward, but my friend, I'll try and explain to you. If you keep walking forward, the horizon will move forward in front of you. So the horizon isn't the end of the Earth; it's the limitation of your view across that surface.
All right. But what if we get like a
That's
what
3
is it?
questions.
Binoculars.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's 3 questions. Sorry.
All right.
Right, we'll
so
see further. We'll
Yeah,
see
we're just-
further. That's all.
just think about I just want to keep you. I want to keep you honest, real quick. All right, so now it's our turn. So, Jedi, if you want to ask a question, or I'll ask a question. It's up to you. Or Indio, if you're here.
oh yeah, I'm here. No, you go ahead. We're gonna ask the big question. Go ahead.
So how confident are you that the Earth is a globe right now?
100% confident.
Okay, I'm just getting confidence levels. That really doesn't count for a question. Because I'm just asking how confident are you? So you could ask me the same thing, I wouldn't count it as a question. So, you're 100% confident. So would you say that you have knowledge to substantiate the globe being 100%? Right? You do.
Yeah.
I would.
It's pictures.
Okay. So which picture do you think you can bring forward that will support the claim that it's a globe?
Just search up Earth globe image or like in space, something like that. Something similar.
So I don't know if you were here for the conversation I had prior with the other guy, or the 2 guys, I would say. But whenever you see those images, can you compare those images to anything you've ever seen in the physical world outside?
Well, no, because I've never been to space.
Okay. So they're showing you something that you have to believe, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's a problem because believing in something and finding out whether it's true or not can't give you 100% fact. You know, you can't be sure that it's 100% a globe because you just believe the information. Based on a belief, you trust where it's coming from. So that has nothing to do with you checking to see if it's a globe. It's got everything to do that you just believe it because they told you a story and they showed you an image.
Yeah, I guess, but we could go like, I don't have the equipment. No, I'm pretty sure 100% nobody here has the equipment to actually go.
Oh, you would be
space
taking
and
that
see
somebody
the show.
had that equipment on faith. And so we're asking you, how would they do it? We're asking you for this procedure.
How would they go to space?
No, not to space.
Hold on into the break. Yeah, just hold on. So if you're finding out that you don't know that if the Earth is a globe based on that image, because I asked you what you can compare it to, and you said, well, I can't right now. Is that correct? You can't compare it to anything.
Oh, what the actual shape is of the Earth?
Yeah, either the shape or...
The actual shape of the Earth is, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's an oblate spheroid.
Yeah, oblate spheroid. That's fine. Oblate spheroid. Right. But how do you know that information is true? That it's an oblate spheroid?
Because it's from trusted companies or whatever.
So we're going back to the trust thing again. Can you see the issue that we have with just you blindly trusting somebody without verifying whether it's true or not? That's an issue. Paranoid. It's an issue because you didn't do anything to verify whether that image is truly what the Earth looks like. You're just believing that it is. So they could just be, and I'm putting a scenario to you, okay, to think about. They could just be lying to you, or they could be telling the truth. But either way, you don't know which one it is because you have not verified it. So you're right now in a state of not knowing whether it's true or not, because you didn't check to see if it was what the image they showed you. That's a huge problem.
Alright, but what if I like grow up and like become an astronaut and go to space and actually prove it? Because like astronauts go into space. I know, but like you'll just be back on. So like if I'm with the company NASA, very trusted, right? And I'm with them. I go to space, right? Go a whole like 360 around the Earth, and come back, and I'm a part of NASA. You're just gonna still be claiming that I'm like, corrupted or like whatever, like not true.
No, paranoid. Here's the issue. Here's the thing that you got to think about. Primary experience trumps everything that you can. Like when you actually do something to verify the thing that you think is true or not, and you find out, that's different. So right now is what we're addressing. Currently is what we're talking about. Right at this moment, you are in a belief system that you think is 100% true. But you're finding out that a belief can't be verified. You believing that the Earth is a globe isn't going to help you understand that it is. It's just a story that you're believing in because you think that these trusted sources are giving you this true information. But that doesn't make it true. Go ahead.
I got a question now. When you said you have a 100% confidence that you know the Earth is a globe, but you also said that that's based on whatever. I mean, that's technical detail. We're not even. I mean, we don't need to get into the minutia like that at this point. But then you said it's because it comes from trusted sources. So you're saying that you have 100% faith in complete strangers that you've never met?
Yeah. They, look, you never know, like, their background. No, okay, look, hear me out.
But they're complete strangers that you never met. They might have
gone through this exact same thing, and they are actually with, like, and they seen it themselves. Like, they seen it
How
themselves.
do you know that?
They're part
You
of
don't know that. But
no, but I do know that. Like, come on.
Yeah, all you know is what they said. That's all you know. They said X, Y, Z. and they're strangers, right? You don't know them personally.
Alright, but someone does.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
not you.
Yes,
You don't know
you.
that. Here's the funny thing: you don't know the person that knows them personally either.
Okay, like you're just like keeping that going on and on. Can I ask questions now?
Can I ask
Kind of
one?
seems like
Did you even absorb the point? The point is you have 100% confidence in something you don't actually know, but what you believe is given to you by strangers, and in no way can you test it. I don't think that that's reasonable, because if I said, if you had a bunch of money, right, say you just won the lottery, you got $1 million, and I said, hey, let one of those NASA guys hold on to it, you wouldn't do that. But
No,
so you don't actually have 100% trust in those people.
I never said I had 100% trust. I'm confident that the Earth is round.
Well, if you don't have 100% trust in them, you can't have 100% confidence that the Earth is round, because you are
And
confident
I can
in the Earth
also
being
put what you're saying to me. I can put that on back to you.
Who cares? I know you over one of my comments. So your 100% belief in the globe is based upon 100% trust in them. Now you're saying it's not 100% trust. You can't have 100% belief. It's not possible. One is contingent on the other. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's reasonable. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no law or rule. If no one's going to hold a gun to your head, believe the globe or we're going to shoot you in the head. Right? You don't have to believe it. Nobody's compelled to believe it. Right? So there's no shame. Say, hey, doesn't science teach us to question things, right? Don't they teach there's no dumb questions, right? That's what they say. There's nothing that's beyond our inquiry. So asking questions is fine, right? Even according to them. And if it's not fine, you have to ask yourself, why is it not fine? Why is this the one subject you're not allowed to question? I can believe in fairies, elves, and fucking unicorns. I just can't believe the Earth is flat. That way you get censored, all sorts of shit, right?
Alright. Can I ask you this? How confident are you that the Earth is flat?
100%.
100%? Alright.
Yep.
Okay.
Because it's not hinged on belief. It's hinged upon my experience of reality.
Okay, but have you guys, like, any flat earthers, believers, that you guys seen that the Earth is actually flat?
Don't
Yeah, I go
believe.
by the ocean.
Yep.
Freaking Jedi here was on a fucking island. It's flat all the way around him.
Yep.
Alright.
Can I ask you guys two questions? I have two questions for you. Like,
Okay.
Well, let me ask you one question since you asked this too. Let me ask you one.
Alright.
Is it unreasonable to think that, hey, when I look at the ocean and it looks flat, it actually is flat? Is it reasonable to expect me to go, no, it just looks flat. That's an optical illusion. It's actually round.
What?
Well, that's what they say, right? It just looks flat because it's a giant ball, and it's just from your perspective, and you're so small, it just looks flat from your perspective.
It looks flat?
The ocean,
Doesn't
don't the
really
ocean look flat?
No,
You don't
not
think the
really.
ocean-
If you really look really closely, you can see a curve. You can actually genuinely see a curve.
Where?
You look side by side, two parts of the ocean.
Alright, what happens
Wow.
Alright, let's see. Okay, let's say you're standing on a beach, right? There's a left and a right. You guys know what that is, right? Left, right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so
there's a left side of the ocean and the right side of the ocean. If you look carefully on each side, you can see like it's a little curve between.
Okay.
One's going right and one's going left.
We get it. You don't need to reiterate the same point 3 times. So let's go from the beach to a boat in the middle of the ocean. Turn around 360 degrees. What happens when you turn around 360 degrees looking at the horizon? Is it just a circle around you?
I don't know, because I've never been in the middle of the ocean.
Okay, so you've never turned around.
No, I know that I turn around, but I've never been in a boat middle of the ocean and turn around.
Okay,
360
so the
degrees.
horizon when you do go into a boat and all you see is the ocean where it appears to meet the sky is a circle around you. So that curvature that you see in the peripheral of your vision, that's not Earth curvature, dude, that's your eyes. If you turn around 360 degrees, the horizon's just a circle around you.
No,
whatever
if
floats
you
your boat,
think
dude.
about it like this: if
Okay,
you set up a
so
tripod camera, right, and you centered the horizon in the tripod, and you spun the camera, rotated it, right, horizontally. When you
yeah.
spin around, that horizon line is going to be in the center of the camera all the way around, for the entire 360-degree rotation. It isn't going to curve down at the edges. You're not going to have to tilt the camera down to follow the horizon.
Okay. All right.
It's
Can I
not
go into
whatever
my
floats our
questions
boat,
now?
dude. Are you even
It
listening
kind
to
of
what we're
seems like
saying, or
this.
are we just
It kind
wasting
of
our
no.
time?
I am listening. I am listening. It kind of seems like this like conversation's over.
Okay, that's a bit weird.
I
So
guess.
can I ask my 2 questions?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. I want to know like what do you guys like think about time zones? Is that like fake to you
No,
guys?
no.
Oh, God.
Time zone.
Okay, so
First
how
of
does
all-
time zones work for you guys?
Okay, so first of all, time zones are political. Second of all, time zones are governed by elevation angles to the sun. Meridians, for example, lines of meridian, this is where you get AM and PM from. So if you're going to be talking about time zones, you're going to require a flat earth to measure them, because time zones are measured in angles to the sun. Solar noon, for example. So the sun controls time zones. And then after the sun controls time zones, it'll be the politics that controls the time zones.
Yeah, about
There's also a difference in time zones, north of the equator, at the equator, and south of the equator. There's a different amount in 3 areas. Because it's all political, dude. But how we get time zones, you're going to need a flat earth to measure the angle to the sun.
I have no idea what that means. It kind of seems like you're just trying to.
No, we're going to tell you. There's 19 time zones in the north. At the equator, there's 24, and in the south, there's 32.
All right.
Now, if the time zones were evidence of a globe, there'd be 24 all the way around. But there's not, because they're political. So China has 1 time zone. Australia has something like 2.5 time zones, even though both of them should have 4.
How is it political?
Because so China decided we're going to have 1 time zone. But according to the globe, they cover 4 time zones.
Okay, but that's what like you guys think though. Like
Not what I think.
you guys can see the
my
different
opinion.
time zones too if you really like fly to India or like China or something from wherever
No.
you're at.
I don't understand why you're not listening.
I am listening.
Go
Okay,
look at a time zone map. Look at China. It has 1 time zone. Look all around China and see how the time zones around China change. Just like the sun just hop over China in 1 hour?
No, that just means China wants it to all be one, but it's really not.
No shit. Yeah, no. We know that. We're trying to explain to him that's political. That's what time zones are. They're political.
No, but the 4 time zones is not political.
Yeah, it is. China, the government of China decided that all of China, which covers over 4 longitude lines, should have 4 time zones. They all operate on the same time zone. So when it's 9 o'clock in the morning in Beijing, in the east, then it's 9 o'clock over 4 time zones across the entire country until you get to the west of the country.
Yeah, that's
It's
political.
all the same time zone. So it's political then. The government decided, so you understand.
But the 4 time zone you're referencing is not political.
Twanger,
Yeah.
mute up. Twanger, mute up.
Yeah, we were there earlier when we discussed how the time zones were measured. Lines of longitude, meridian, AM and PM. They're angle measurements requiring
talking
a
to-
horizontal surface.
We're talking to the new guy, Twanger. Please don't
Yeah,
interrupt.
sorry, my truth is way too efficient.
Shut
Sorry.
up, Tom.
No, we already covered it. You're late to the fucking party, dude.
Do I get to ask a question now?
All right, can I go on to my final question?
Yeah, as long as after your final question I can ask you one.
All right, yeah, you can. Okay, do you guys believe you're the president? It doesn't matter. You guys trust them? Do you guys trust them?
Do I trust them? What?
Do you guys trust the president? The presidents?
To do what?
Do you guys no? Do you trust them?
No.
In what way?
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah. Like in what
I'm
way
just
do I
asking.
do? Do I trust them to babysit my kids? Do I trust them to
Do
send
you
me a
trust
check?
them?
Like, trust them in what context?
No, do you just trust them in general? Like, do you hear me in general? Like, just with
No, why
what
would
they
I?
do?
They're complete fucking no. They're complete strangers. Why would I fucking trust them?
Okay. Okay.
Do you trust complete strangers?
Depends.
Jesus Christ, you're gonna get kidnapped. See you in the van down by the river, buddy.
Why was that question relevant?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
The president doesn't say the Earth is a globe. If that's what you're getting at, I don't think the United States has an official policy on what the shape of the Earth is.
No, I was just asking. Do you trust them? I'm not saying anything
for
else.
what?
All I said.
I only trust the retarded ones like Joe Biden.
The retarded one? Okay.
Yeah, like Joe Biden. Like I know he can't hurt me because he's freaking doesn't know his ass from his elbow.
I think
This explains.
Yeah. So Jedi did want to ask you a question. So if you allow him.
Yeah.
You were talking about pictures from space and stuff earlier, right?
Yeah.
Okay. One quick question: how do you have gas pressure without a container?
Bro, I don't know.
Okay. You understand that if you don't have a container, a physical boundary around the gas will leave, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So how does the vacuum of space exist if it's uncontained from our atmosphere?
Because our atmosphere keeps like it in or whatever.
No, the atmosphere is made of gas, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the atmosphere is not a magical word. The gas isn't going to stop itself from expanding because atmo means gas and gas expands. So how is the gas not expanding into the vacuum of space?
Because it's like its own layer.
Because it's its own layer.
It's a layer.
Yeah, a layer of gas.
It's a layer of gas that keeps itself in.
So my gums have not.
AI, you're mute. Yeah, thank you, dude. Yeah, cheers. Thank you, India. So you understand that a layer of gas isn't going to stop the gas from dispersing into an available space, right? Gas doesn't work that way. Gas expands.
Say that again?
Gas expands, doesn't it, to fill available volumes?
Oh, yeah.
Cool. And the only way to restrict gas expanding is to contain it with a physical boundary, correct?
Yeah.
Cool. So if the Earth is an open system without any physical boundary around it, how are we still breathing?
Because of air.
The air, which expands into space, doesn't it? You just become a circle.
It doesn't, because I just explained it right now. It's a layer. It has its own layer.
Yeah.
Of the gases.
Yeah. So layers of gases, dude. It's like you're a broken toy. You need to listen, dude. Layers of gas are not going to stop layers of gas expanding. We've already come to the conclusion that you stop gas expansion by containing it. If you don't have a container, then the gases, whatever layers they are going to continue to expand into the next volume. So I'm going to ask you the question again. How do you have gas pressure without a container? We're breathing gas pressure, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So how do you have that without a container? Gas pressure. Yeah, exactly. Gas pressure is defined as the force that the gas exerts upon the walls of its container. If you don't have a container, you won't have gas pressure, and the gas will continue to expand. So you understanding this, second law of thermodynamics, PV equals nRT, means that the vacuum of space where you got your pictures from can't be real.
Say that again?
The area where you got your pictures from, the vacuum of space, can't be real according to the second law of thermodynamics, because you understand that to stop gas expansion, you need a physical container. If you don't have a physical container, the gas will keep expanding into the available volume.
Yeah, but the atmosphere is full of gases. That's a layer.
Yeah,
still the same thing.
It's weird.
Hold on. Let me try this, Doug. If you're gonna make a container to hold the gas, would you make it out of gas?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay, but that's what you're saying. You're saying the gas is the container for the gas.
Yeah, but in our atmosphere.
Which is
gas. So the gas is the container for the gas. So why doesn't the gas that contains the gas fuck off into the vacuum?
Because it's gas.
Which expands, doesn't it? Are you broken? Gas expands, doesn't it?
Hold on.
To fill the available volume.
Who's DMing you, dude?
What?
What?
Say that again.
I said, who's DMing you? You're either playing a game or reading DMs because someone's trying to coach you.
No, nobody's doing that.
Okay. Well, if they are, just tell them they can come in here and talk to us themselves. They don't have to hide behind you.
There's nobody doing that, so there is nobody that's gonna come in here.
You did.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure too.
So you understand that we're told the Earth is an open system, right?
I guess.
Yeah. So if it's an open system, that means no container around the gas, doesn't it?
Sure.
Awesome. So,
Yeah.
if the Earth is an open system, what happens to the atmo, which is gas? What will happen in an open system to gas?
It will just like go out or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So when we're told that the sky is an ultra high vacuum, uncontained from our gas pressure, we understand that's a fundamental violation of the second law of thermodynamics, Boyle's law, Gay-Lussac's law, Avogadro's law, which all describe a change over time, and the only way that you can stop that change over time is physical containment. Entropy, my friend, debunks the vacuum of space, where you got your pictures from.
Yeah, the pictures.
Yeah, can't be real, because the place where they came from can't exist. It's a bit like Narnia, right?
Dude, the atmosphere is made of gases that has like a layer, man.
Yeah.
It's a layer. It's a layer of itself keeping all the gases inside.
So, like Indio pointed out to you earlier, if you want to contain gas, you're going to put another layer of gas around it.
No, the gases are its layer. It's the whole layer that is keeping it in.
Yeah. Gas expands, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, we have to go around in these circles, Lou, because it's like you're broken. You're not kind of picking up what I'm putting down, or you don't want to pick up what I'm putting down. You're trying to kick it away for some reason. I don't know why. This is just the law of I'm talking about. Gas pressure is fine.
Straight up.
Yeah. What did you say?
You have textbook cognitive dissonance. See, you accept the idea that gas expands into the volume, but you also have the idea that the air, that there's outer space. So you're trying to have two contradictory ideas both be true at the same time, and you're just stuck in a loop. They can't be both true at the same time. One has to be false. Which one is more likely to be false? The second law of thermodynamics, which has never, in any experiment, ever been proven to be false, or some story made up in 300 BC about fucking outer space vacuum.
Third one.
The third one, which one's that?
The third one.
You had two choices, bro.
The third one. I'm answering your question. The third one.
What is the third one?
The one that you said. The third one. You have to re-explain it. I don't remember what you said, but it's the third one.
You gave you two.
I gave you two. I didn't give you three.
No, you gave me a third one.
Yeah, are you trying to gaslight us now? That ain't gonna work.
If he gave you a third one, what did he say?
I literally just said I don't remember, but it's the third one.
What was the first one?
The first one? I don't remember that.
Second, how about the second one?
Second one was about like gas or whatever. I don't know.
What was the fourth one?
There was no fourth one.
How do you know? You don't even know what the first and second and third one were.
No, I remember you said stuff, but I just don't remember you explaining it.
Okay, your two choices are: the second law of thermodynamics is violated because gas does not expand. Against the second law of thermodynamics, violating it, entropy does not increase. Or what you believe, that gas contains the gas inside of a vacuum and it doesn't expand into the vacuum. So, but you've already admitted gas expands, but you also said gas don't expand. So
The
how can they
gas
both be
is a
true?
layer, dude. It is a layer.
Why doesn't it expand? Why doesn't that
Because
layer
it's a
expand?
layer. The layer is
What does
protecting
that
it
mean?
all inside. The
layer
gases
of what?
is the atmosphere layer, whatever.
A layer of what?
Gas.
Does gas expand?
No.
No. Okay.
Oh dear. I mean, you can go back to asking us questions if you want, mate. In actual fact, I implore you, please ask as many questions as you need to.
Yeah. I mean,
So like, okay, if you're in space, just imagine this. If you're on the moon, and you're looking at the Earth right now, and it's on North America, like you can see North America, South America, whatever the ocean and stuff. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see Europe or whatever, but if you look on that, and then the Earth rotates right to like Australia, Russia, China, whatever that, like, how does that work if it's like flat and it's all together? Like,
because
you know, like on a flat map.
see, when you started your hypothetical, you started with imagine. Asking me how your imagination of a globe works on a
No,
flat Earth,
imagine.
I have no
You're not
fucking
gonna be in
idea.
space. You're not gonna be in space, of course. So you have to
How
imagine.
can I explain how you imagining a world in which there's no flat Earth, how a flat Earth is possible?
I told you to imagine yourself on the moon.
Yeah, dude. Looking at a globe Earth.
Yeah, looking at a globe Earth, which is the Earth.
Yeah, and then you ask me how does your flat Earth work from if I'm on the moon looking at a globe Earth? Like that makes no sense.
No, but you're on the moon.
So what? How does that change?
You're on the moon
anything?
looking at the Earth.
Okay.
Okay, no, okay, where is the moon located from the Earth? Like the flat Earth, you know how like it's
In the sky.
in the sky. Okay.
Doesn't have a measurable distance.
Okay.
See,
And-
we know how we all got talk the same way, right? You think there's a sun, and there's an Earth, and it's orbiting the sun, and then there's a ball called the moon, and it's orbiting the Earth, and there's a bunch of balls all orbiting, spinning around each other.
So you're
Okay.
saying there's no sun or moon?
No, I didn't say that. We see the sun and moon, obviously they exist. But you don't see the Earth orbit the sun and moon. What you actually see is the sun and the moon move across the sky. Right?
Yeah.
You don't see any orbits. In fact, this might come as news to you. Nobody has ever observed an orbit. Ever. Ever. No human being has ever observed a full orbit of a celestial body going around another celestial body. Now, they've inductively inferred orbits from seeing, like, moons, like the moons of Jupiter. They see them go in one direction. They never see them on the other side. So, we've never seen the Earth go around the sun. We've never seen the moon go around the Earth. We've never seen none of these events happen from outside of everything, right? All we have is the perspective from where we are on the Earth. Now, you can make a model that makes predictions about where all those things are using this geometry of things going around things. But they could do that before the globe model in a geocentric model, and then there's another alternative model where the sun and moon orbit the Earth, and then the planets orbit the sun, and all those models are mathematically equivalent, right? So the point is that it's just a mathematical model to make predictions. At some point in time, someone said, this isn't just a model, this is reality. And everybody was like, cool, man, that's reality, let's all believe it. It's literally how it is. It's literally, it was just a way to predict. And here's the funny thing. Why did they want to predict where the planets were? Do you have any idea? Do you have any idea why they wanted to know, why it was important to them to know where the planets are in the sky? Because they practice
to make sure they don't
astrology.
crash into us.
No, they practice astrology. They wanted to know their future. They wanted to be able to tell the fortunes of when is a good time to plant crops? When is a good time to get married? When's a good time to have a baby? What's the baby going to be like? He was born under this star sign. He's going to have this type of personality. When should we go to war? That's why they wanted to know about where the planets were. right? This is what motivated the entire thing. People think, oh, these guys are just doing science. There's no fucking science involved in any of this shit. It's only called science now. But it started as astrology and then morphed into astronomy. And when it morphed, in order to make these big predictions or accurate predictions, so that they could tell their future better, because like the people like Curtis, they didn't go to. There was universities, but you needed a personal benefactor, right? You needed someone to like sponsor you. So often these people get sponsored by a king or a duke or some royalty, but conditionally say, "Hey, I'm going to send you to school to take astronomy, and then you're going to use that astronomy to do astrology and tell me my future." Because all of them were all into that shit back then. The point is that they made up these models of orbits and shit like that to make better predictions, but they didn't believe it was physically real. That didn't come until like this late 1600s, early 1700s, which isn't even that long ago. And this isn't like, you can check this out. You can go like Copernicus and his revolutions of the heavenly bodies. You can go read that. He even specifically says this shit. He says none of this shit has to be even real, because all we're trying to do is make accurate predictions of where the planets are. They didn't care about. Only now do we want to know, oh, what's causing this and that. They didn't care about any of that crap. They had a different motivation for why they were doing it. We have assigned to their model. It's called a reification. It's when you take something that's abstract and give it unwarranted concreteness. So things like orbit, space, and all these ideas, they were just concepts that they had with no evidence. And now we say these are real. Okay, and they don't teach you this shit in school, of course not. They don't teach you the globe, but this is a good thing to steal from Alpha. He said, you weren't taught the globe, dude. You were told it.
No, right? I was taught it.
No, you were told it.
No, taught it.
Okay, so what evidence did they give you when they told you the Earth was a globe back in kindergarten or whatever age? The earliest you were taught it in school. Yeah, they told you.
They told me and taught me.
What did they teach you?
They taught me that it's a globe and not flat Earth or whatever.
Yeah. What? Like when they teach you something, they give you evidence that's part of the teaching, right?
Yeah.
Like when they teach you about Abraham Lincoln, or when they teach you about Abraham Lincoln, right? They tell you what he did, where he was from, who he's married to, what he did during his presidency, right? They give you all these details.
Yeah, he had slavery.
Great. It's immaterial. You're missing the point. Yeah. But they teach you like about Lincoln, lots of like facts. When they told you the Earth was a globe, what did they teach you? They just said the Earth is a globe. That's all they said. They didn't say
they showed pictures.
A globe, and they showed pictures.
Yeah, they showed pictures of the Earth.
How do you know they're pictures of the Earth?
Because it looks like the Earth.
How do you know that's what the Earth looks like?
Because there's pictures of the Earth. That's literally that.
Yeah, dude. You don't do that. Dude, you're the dog chasing your own tail, bro. Like, seriously. I said, how do you know the pictures of the Earth? And you said, because there's pictures of the Earth.
How do you guys know like the Earth is flat then? If like...
I already told you, already asked you that. You can just go outside and observe it to be that way.
No, I can't.
You can.
Yeah, you can.
You go outside and see a curve?
What? Okay, so you're proving my point that the Earth is round. If whoever said that go outside and see a curve.
He asked.
No, he said.
He asked you, do you see curve? It's a question.
Wouldn't even matter if he said it. It doesn't matter. His declaration don't mean anything. The fact is, we all observe in the Earth to be flat, and we all observe that we can't feel it moving. We all know we see the sun move across the sky. We all know we see the moon across the sky. We don't see it. We also spinning on a rotating Earth. They say, right? And so, but this is what they say, right? Is that it only looks flat because it's a ball that's too big to see. So that sighting that you have, they're saying that isn't reality. The reality is it's a giant ball. And you not feeling motion, they're saying that's not reality. You actually are moving. You just can't feel it because it's too slow. Okay? So saying what you experience is an illusion. And you're okay with that because someone showed you a picture.
Yeah, that was still the evidence.
Yeah, it's not evidence because you can't tell me how you even know it's authentic, dude.
If I gave you a picture of a horse, you would have seen a horse before to compare that this is a picture of a horse because I know what a horse looks like, right? Yes, no, maybe so.
Yeah, I know what a horse looks like.
Yeah, so that's what Injo's asking you. When you're given a picture of the Earth, how do you know that's a picture of the Earth?
Because, like, when I look at the ground, it's green, right? And, like, some parts of the world, which, like, is land, right? Is green. And that's the Earth. So that's how I know it's the Earth.
So I'm going to send you a picture of a lime, and I'm going to tell you that's the Earth. It's green.
No, that's not the Earth, because I could tell by the texture.
How do you know?
Like how it feels like and stuff, because I know what an actual lime looks like. And
like you rub your hand across the Earth, you know what the texture of the Earth is?
Yeah.
He's broken.
Oh, I mean, okay, like for the texture of the Earth, I can't really tell because how big it is, like how big the Earth is, right? So I can't tell.
So what if someone painted a picture of a globe, took a photograph of the painting, but you couldn't see the frame, right? They did a real close-up. And they said, hey, I took a picture of the Earth from space. Now, it would be an authentic photograph, but that would not be a picture of the Earth. It'd be a picture of a painting.
Yeah,
how can you tell? So how can you tell the difference?
You'll probably see like a mistake there. There's no way someone could perfectly get the Earth.
Oh, dude, you'd be surprised. You can't tell. You don't know what a perfect Earth looks like, dude. Have you seen the Earth from space?
No. Have you?
Okay, so you don't know what. No. So you don't know what the Earth looks like from space. The place you think to take a picture of. You don't know what it looks like. So if someone shows you a picture, this is what the Earth looks like. You can't go, that ain't the Earth that I saw. You can't even say that from your own memory that looks like the Earth or not. All you can do is like, I saw a different picture of the Earth and it looks like that picture too, or it don't look like that picture. All you can do is compare it to other images you saw, and you can compare them against each other. But one of those images that you're comparing against could be a picture of a painting. You have no way to know which the authentic one is.
Alright, but I have Google Maps and like...
There is no but, dude. There's no but.
I have Google Maps.
So what?
I have Google Maps. I know what like the Earth looks like. And like pictures from drones.
Google Maps comes from drones? Is that what we just said?
No, pictures from drones. Of the Earth.
Yeah. Pictures from drones of their... How did drones fly again?
Oh no, search it up.
It's just broken.
Dude, I'm saying I'm broken, but broken is like keep repeating the same words, and I'm not.
Dude, like we unmuted you half an hour ago because you were supposed to be some kind of intellectual, and over the last half an hour, we've all just seen your cognitive decline. It's just, I don't know why you're defending it. Why can't you?
Wait,
yeah,
what was the question
that's a
about?
Good question, Jedi. Go ahead.
What was the question about how drones fly? Like, what's the purpose of that question?
How high they fly.
Oh, how high they can fly?
Yeah.
How high can they fly?
1,000 feet.
See, and like some like drones either take videos or like pictures of the Earth and stuff.
But they more often don't use drones, they use weather balloons. Like balloons. Because unrestricted flight.
They actually use stereophotogrammetry from airplanes that have been doing it for like maybe 80 years.
Well, that works too, yeah. That does work too, you're correct. Weather balloons, it's not specifically weather balloons, but I can't remember exactly what they were. But, yeah.
Alright, can I ask can I probably ask like my final question, cause I gotta go.
Yeah, sure.
Alright, so look, okay, I know you guys keep saying like I'm not listening. I really am listening and like understanding. I know where you guys come from, like dropped as a baby and stuff. But like, okay, I wanna know, like,
so you're reverting right back to the stupid shit you were saying when you entered.
How come, hey, let me listen. I mean,
how come your parents are related to blood?
How come other planets aren't flat? Like, as you guys say, the Earth is flat.
When you say,
how come like Jupiter isn't flat, or like Venus or whatever that is? Like,
why would it be flat?
I don't know. Why would the Earth be flat if you're saying that?
Because it's
why would the Earth be like Jupiter?
What? How does that relate to anything?
I'm asking you. No, you're making a connection between Earth and... No, listen, dude. You're making a connection. Jupiter and Earth should have the same form. Why?
Yeah, but all the other planets have the same form. How come Earth doesn't?
They have the same form amongst each other. So they have the same form amongst each other. Yeah, dude, let me finish. They have the same form against each other. The planets, that's why we call them planets. That's a category. It's a category. The wandering stars, that's what it means. We look up in the sky, there's these balls of light that move different than all the other stars. Those are called planets. Earth is not in that category. So there's no reason to think
Earth is not a planet?
Oh, listen. No, Earth is not a planet.
What is it?
Earth. It's unique.
So you're saying Earth isn't an Earth category?
There's only one Earth, dude. There's not a bunch of Earths. There's not a bunch of things like Earth. There's nothing like Earth, period.
So Earth is just by itself in its own category? That's what you're saying?
It's a unique thing. And
so Earth is in the Earth category, right? That's what you're saying?
Well, I mean, don't have a category. Things that are unique don't have categories.
Then what is Earth to you or whatever?
Hold on.
That's AI overload.
No, it ain't. Nice try.
The hell? That guy actually
what do you mean, what is Earth to me? It's where I live, it's what I walk on, it's all that crap, dude. What do you mean?
Okay. So why are other planets not shaped like Earth?
Why are bananas different from grapes?
Why are what?
Why are bananas different from grapes?
Because they're different fruits.
Yeah, awesome. So the Earth is different from those things. Those things in the sky appear to be spheres and move. When we measure the Earth, we don't measure any curvature, so not a sphere, and we don't measure any motion, so not moving. So categorically, the Earth is not like those things.
So the Earth is not a planet?
No. If you're going to define a planet as a sphere that moves, then most definitely not.
Okay. Alright. Well, that was probably like my last question.
Okay, what you should look into is something called the Copernican principle. You believe it. The Copernican principle?
Yeah.
I can tell you what it is. It was an idea that came about with Copernicus. It's the idea that Earth is not unique, that it does not hold any unique place in reality. It's just like everything else. That was a new idea at the time of Copernicus. So your way of thinking is like, since the Earth is not unique, if I look in the sky and I see a pattern, then the Earth has to be like this thing up there, because it's not unique and it can't be unique. It has to be like everything else. That idea, well, it's been refuted for one by observation, not just from us. Even the mainstream cosmology has been utterly refuted, because it appears like the Earth is in the center of everything. Like when they look around, in the sky, it appears Earth is in the middle of everything. And that's not just like an anomaly. It's just the way it appears to be. That would give the Earth a unique position. But the point is that the whole line of questioning about why are the other planets, if the other planets are round, why isn't the Earth round? That just assumes Earth has to be one of those things. It doesn't have to be one of those things. There's no evidence it's one of those things. There's no curve and it's not moving. So like we can know empirically that it's not.
Hey, can you?
There's a lot of philosophy behind this. That they don't teach you that. There's a lot of philosophy behind this. Just like that's like everything, like your ideas and all the ideas of the globe are pinned on. Like the Copernican principle about there's nothing unique, right? It also tells you what's possible and what's not possible. Oh, this particular thing, this is possible, and this type of things, these aren't possible. So it's
how come they don't teach you about the flat Earth in school?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I can
keep going.
Listen,
what do you mean? What do you mean exactly?
They only teach true things. Yeah, I'd like to know. Like, did they only teach true things in school or something?
No, I'm just asking why don't they teach flat Earth in school?
They also don't teach you how to bail yourself out of jail.
Because why would you want to be in jail? And
no. If you ever go to jail, you might want to be able to bail yourself out. Why don't they teach you that? That's the thing, right? People go to jail and they need to get bailed out.
And they would not want to.
No, but shouldn't they? No, but dude, that's not an argument. Why don't they teach you that? Bailing yourself out is a part of reality. Why don't they teach you how to do that?
You still haven't answered my question.
The law.
I'm showing you how ridiculous your argument is. It's called reduction to absurdity. There's a lot of things in school they don't teach you. Just because they don't teach you flat Earth in school doesn't mean it's not true. That's silly.
You still haven't answered my question.
What was your question?
Why don't they teach flat Earth in school?
Oh my god.
I did answer your question, dude.
Okay, then repeat for whatever you said.
Okay. How do they decide what's on a school curriculum?
Bro, I don't know.
So why are you asking that question if you don't even know why they teach what they do teach in school? Do you think it's because there's somebody that goes around and like, I'm going to figure out the truth in the world? And that's what we're going to teach in our school.
You're still going on and on and haven't answered my question.
No, dude, your question's stupid, bro. I don't know. Each school district teaches their own curriculum. Okay? Every school that's out there in America has a school district. And they have a curriculum. And they decide in parents teachers associated meetings what they're going to teach in school. Okay? Not every school teaches the same thing. Some schools teach computer programming, other schools don't. Some schools have wood shop, other schools don't. Why don't you teach wood shop at this school and not that school? Go ask the fucking school board.
Alright, okay, look, okay. When I'm gonna say this, I don't want to offend any of you guys flat earthers because it doesn't matter who you are.
You're muted. You're muted. No parting gifts for you, dude. You guys always, you gotta do the fucking run up as if like it ain't gonna happen where you're gonna get fucking muted before you get your little last insult in.
Chocolate into the room.
There was a few questions he couldn't answer that I'd like to try to answer.
Who's that? Is that Zach?
Earth is conspiracy made by Muslims. Prove me wrong.
Welcome to the channel, Zach.
Hello. There was y'all mentioned the open system.
Flat Earth is made by the Muslims.
Hold on.
That's fine. So, y'all mentioned an open system with the atmosphere on like why gas doesn't escape a little bit ago. Let's just start with that. The reason gas cannot escape our atmosphere is because the colder things get, the less it moves, like molecular or atomically. So it just can't move after it reaches the negative 230 degrees it is up there, the closer to 0 Kelvin. That's if there's any.
That's awesome. So how does the gas cool off once it gets up there?
How's it what?
How does it cool off?
It just stops moving kinetically That's the determination of cooling off.
Yeah, how does that energy dissipate?
The energy it took to get there. To like from the tree, say a tree produces the oxygen, it's as it rises due to heat.
Yeah, you know how heat radiation works, right? Convection, conduction, and radiation. So which process?
Radiation. It radiates.
So infrared radiation is how it's cooling off and it's slowing the particle down.
Not specifically infrared, it just
that's how it dissipates. No, that's how you dissipate electrons now. No, heat is dissipated through infrared radiation.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. There's no I guess.
The specifics on the way it is.
Okay. Infrared radiation is what we call heat radiation. It's only infrared. It's not any of the other spectrums. Though those other spectrums can cause heating, it's not radiated in that spectrum. So heat is radiated in infrared. And I'm asking you, how would these gases and molecules radiating off enough heat to slow down its thermal motion?
I'm trying to understand your question.
I know, because
I guess I don't know the answer to that specific part.
Because everything you said, you made up, dude.
No, I really didn't. Promise.
Okay, you got a citation? Post in the chat, dude.
Don't have it right now.
You never had it. You never had it, dude. You never had it and you never will have it. Because it doesn't say that in any fucking textbook ever published. Period.
I'm sure I could find one given time, but my internet's not very well on it.
Another one you sure exists out there somewhere. The fucking phantom fucking expert.
Your mom's gay.
I don't mean to rag on your back. This is just like the 9th time today that like someone's citing the phantom expert, right? I'm gonna make a claim. I don't know what the evidence of the claim is. I know if I took long enough time out there somewhere, I'd find it eventually.
It's basics. It's just hard to explain from where you. Yeah, it is. This is base chemistry.
We're not talking about chemistry. We're talking about thermodynamics.
No, this is Coulomb's law. This is chemistry. It applies to physics, but yes, this is chemistry.
Coulomb's law is electricity, dude.
Coulomb's law is energy. Coulomb's law is energy and repulsion.
Coulomb's law is one of Maxwell's equations, buddy.
What? Say that again?
Coulomb's law is one of Maxwell's equations.
I don't know what Maxwell's equations are. I know that Coulomb invented the law.
Maxwell's equation, electricity, and magnetism that are written in the 1800s, so the quaternion form, and then vectorized by, I think it was William Tate and Heaviside, in which that's what we use now, the vectorized form of quaternion rotations. We call them Maxwell's equations. They're how we model electricity and magnetism, and where we get our model for light, and the speed of light, and refractive index, and like all bunch of shit. Right? Coulomb's law is a part of that.
If you don't mind, can we get things a little bit dumbed down? I am 17. I'm in high school.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Sorry. It's fine. I understood the last bits. But
Maxwell's equation of electricity and magnetism, Coulomb's law is a part of that. Okay.
Yeah, I understand.
The kinetic. I shouldn't say we, because it's the upper level. So we use the kinetic theory of gases to model how gases behave in a thermodynamic system. There's no gravity in those equations, right? There's only certain ways to dissipate the energy. Now, one of the ways is expansion. So what happens is you have like a volume of gas particles, right? And say there's 100 gas particles in this 1 cubic centimeter. They're all bouncing around, right, with some kinetic energy. Now, if they're in a closed system and the volume doesn't expand or compress, and you don't input energy into it in any way, it's going to stay that temperature. It'll reach the temperature of thermodynamic equilibrium. But if you open, say, the walls of the container, all the gas is going to expand, right? But now it doesn't have anything to collide with, So it's a kinetic energy is going to end up going down, right? And this is how it dissipates the temperature overall of the gas. The temperature is just really an equivalent of the amount of the impacts on like force over mass over area, because torque equals mass over accelerate, or pressure equals mass over area, or force over area. So because the area gets bigger, the pressure will go down. And because the pressure goes down, the temperature will go down. Equivalent temperature will go down. Right? So because you're expanding the volume. And because you're expanding the volume, right? Have you ever used compressed air?
Yeah.
Like a to spray off like your computer keyboard?
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you ever notice how it gets really cold?
Yeah.
You can, because it's expanding rapidly. So when the gas expands rapidly, the temperature drops. It has one temperature. So this is what should be happening. It should be, as it expands, it should cool off. But that doesn't matter, because it should keep flying away, because there's nothing to stop it from flying away. Right? You got the infinite vacuum of space. Like, what's going to stop it?
Is that a question?
Yeah. Well, what'll stop it from just like flying off forever and ever?
I couldn't tell you. The
Now,
only
of course,
idea I have for that is just
gravity,
it being
right?
too cold to continue moving. But go on.
Yeah, but I mean, people say, well, even when nothing ever gets to absolute zero, and even if it was like super cold, there'd always be some thermal motion. It never comes to a complete rest. No,
Yeah, no, I know that. That I came off less so.
Some people would say gravity, but like I said, if you model the behavior of gas with the kinetic theory of gases, there's no gravity in the equation. And plus, here's the other problem. If gravity could compress gas, that means gravity would be raising the temperature of the gas, and it would be doing work. It would actually doing real work, right? Yeah, because when you take a volume of gas that's at one temperature, you compress it, the temperature goes up because the pressure goes up, right?
Yeah, if gas is
so say I have a 1 cubic, so let's say I have a 1 cubic centimeter of gas, it's 100 degrees Celsius, and I crush that down into 1 centimeter. That compression is going to raise the temperature, right? So if gravity did that, that means gravity would be raising the temperature of the gas.
No, I understand, yeah.
Yeah, so gravity would be like some sort of perpetual fucking motion machine.
Well, doesn't that kind of just imply that it leaves the atmosphere and then is reproduced? Because then it would be getting colder if it just continued to leave. Is it at like equilibrium of its production and it's like leaving?
Well, it should get cold and then thrown up into the air, right? And then the gravity, as it gets cold and it loses kinetic energy, the gravity sucks it back down, right? And it just gets cycled up and down. Right? Back down to Earth, heated up, compressed by the gravity, and then, cooled off by whatever process. Then it gets so hot that it has enough kinetic energy to reach the upper atmosphere, hit space, cool off, come back down. So you have these vertical compression currents.
Yeah.
You literally have shit shooting up into the air, dude. That'd be weird. That'd be fucking weird, dude.
Terrible.
Dude, not really, because you take what parasailing to a whole new fucking level. I'm going to space on my parasail.
But I mean, our atmosphere's really tall, isn't it? So like, I meant like production by what produces the oxygen, and as nitrogen things continue to leave, like exit into space.
Expand.
Yeah, expand.
Do you know what the definition of gas pressure is?
Not really. Or the vapor pressure? Is that what you're referring to?
Just gas pressure. If you don't know, I'll tell you.
No.
Okay, so gas pressure is defined as the force that the gas exerts upon the walls of its container. Pressure is solved by force over area, right? If you have no physical boundary to press against, how do you achieve pressure?
You wouldn't, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't. So this is why we're talking about the Earth being an open or a closed system. If it's closed, that means physical confinement. You will achieve gas pressure because of the force of gases exerted upon the closed system. If you have an open system, no physical boundary to press against, so you won't achieve gas pressure, entropy will increase and gas will dissipate, continue to expand. So this is how we know that the vacuum of space can't be real. Because we're breathing.
I can't refute that. Yeah.
I know.
I'm not. I don't think I'm just educated enough to do that.
No, that's fine, buddy.
Yeah.
Just
well, I mean, the only remotely thing remotely resembling a computation is there's chant gravity over it.
Say that again? Sorry, I have terrible hearing.
I said the only thing remotely resembling a refutation of it is someone will just say gravity over again.
Yeah, and I'm not going to argue the same point at you.
Well, they can't say how gravity does it. They can't give you a model. There's no gravitational theory of thermodynamics, right? So none of the physics models incorporate gravity even into them. So to say gravity does it is just like saying it like a magic word. It's not like you're citing a physics textbook or anything like that. They just say, gravity does it. You can't say how. I mean, don't feel bad. Nobody can answer. Nope. Like, nobody can answer. Like, we're not asking these questions because we got answers. We've been doing this well. We ask the questions, there aren't answers.
No, yeah, and I understand that much.
I mean, like a lawyer, right? You never ask a question you don't already know the answer to.
What was do you remember the last argument that kid brought up? I cannot remember it for the life of me. That was the other one I wanted to address.
Flat earthers are stupid. Was that his argument? I don't know.
No, his main argument was...
Oh yeah, why they all looked different.
Main argument was...
Like, why every other planet looked different.
If I was on the moon... But his main argument was if I was on the moon, and the Earth was a globe...
Because I don't think I can refute the open system problems. But
AI.
No,
he had me stumped. AI. He had me stumped by that. I could not think of a way around
it. What was your next question?
Another guy, dude. Yeah, said if the Earth was, if you're always on the moon looking at a globe, how could it be flat?
I think it's just the idea of the other planets being the way they are, and are you geocentrism? Do you guys believe in geocentrism?
In a way, not the globe geocentrism.
That's what I was thinking of. Okay, you're talking about like every direction you look from, it looks like we're in the center.
Yeah, according to the cosmic microwave background radiation.
Yeah, because light can't. We wouldn't be able to tell any other light from any other direction. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. I'm trying to explain it in words. If you were to look, if the light hasn't reached you yet, every bit of light makes like a circle. You can't see the light further than anyway, so it wouldn't be any other shape. We are in the center because we're... I don't have math for this.
That's not really what they're saying is. What they're saying is there's more microwave. It should be evenly distributed.
Yeah.
Right? But the cosmic microwave background radiation is aligned with I think they said it's either aligned with the fucking it's like aligned with the ecliptic or something. So it's aligned with the Earth. It's distribution, right? So it doesn't have a... It's actually called the cosmological axis of evil. There's actually a name for it.
That one's hard to understand.
Cosmological axis of evil. Remember, they're making a moral judgment about Earth not appearing to be in the center. They don't like that shit.
Oh,
like people try, like so they call because they know this. Astronomers they went, we appear to be in the center. We've been saying for 500 years that we're not, and they don't like it, so they call it the axis of evil. People make a big mistake thinking that science does not incorporate philosophy, occult ideas, moral questions. Like all this stuff is incorporated into science. They just hide it. They don't tell you, and maybe they don't know. A lot of them don't know that the idea, like their worldview paradigms from which they make all their judgments, has some assumptions. Everybody's worldview has starting presuppositions of what is true.
Yeah.
And then from what they already believe, what they like, hey, how do I know something? How do I figure out the truth? They take that and then they build a whole worldview out of it, right? Now, your foundation might be different than mine. Someone could have the Bible. Someone could have empiricism. Someone could have fucking some subjective worldview where it's like they're a brain in a jar, right? But like they can build a whole mental construct in how they determine what truth is based upon this worldview. Now,
I think
science
getting the answer.
Hold on, let me finish. I'm almost done. So science claims to be completely based upon empirical evidence, based upon looking at the world and how it is. That is actually not true because they are judging, interpreting the empirical observations within a particular worldview, such as the Copernican principle, where Earth has no unique place in the universe. Now, if they had a worldview where the Earth has a unique place in the universe, right, and then they did their observations, and they go, what can I make out of this observation based upon the Earth having a unique place in the universe? They'd reach different conclusions, right? So they have these presuppositions that they want to acknowledge from which they see everything.
Yeah.
You understand all that?
For the most part, like, doing my best, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of...
I'm not going to be like a disrespectful prick like some of the other kids here.
No. I'm just saying, like, some of this is like you said you're 17, right? So you're not going to deal with some of these concepts in high school. You wouldn't deal with any of these things until college. No.
Whenever I leave after this call, I'm probably going to see if I can look into them, try to learn a bit more so I can do better next time.
I would do better. I don't know what doing better is. What's doing better by like winning the debate?
No more. I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean it's
kind
of an esoteric subject. The subject's a little esoteric. I mean, check out the cosmological axis of evil, man. That's really because they both like. Look, this is the way I do research. Because I'm going to give you a little hint. This is how I do it. I come across something like, so say I never heard of the cosmological axis of evil, and someone told me about it. I'd look at it, and then I go, okay, where'd this idea come from? How did it get to where it is now? And I say, okay, someone wrote about it 20 years before, and I go through what they wrote, and then like, where'd his ideas come from? Someone wrote that about 20 years before that. I'd look at that, right? So I'd go back in history for the genesis of whatever they're talking about. That way you really understand where it comes from. You know what I mean? You understand it. Instead of like being here in frickin', 2025, learning about some topic, but you have no idea of like its foundation. So you only partially understand it. You know what I mean? And I'll give you an example of this, a really practical gravity. So like gravity. Oh, Newton's apple. Apple fell from the tree, hit Newton in the head, came for all his ideas. Right? That's the story. But that story is bullshit. There was no Newton's fucking apple. Newton didn't even believe in his own theory. Did they teach you that?
Can I just say real quick, like, you have a very good point of view where, you know, you're looking at this conversation and you want to actually go and look stuff up to come back here and try and... That's pretty much where we kind of came from as well. Like, if you think you can try to beat the flat Earth, go and actually legitimately look into it, and then come back.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're
It's
saying.
a very good train of thought.
I'm one track, sorry, I don't have a lot of other words. Sorry. I say yeah a lot. Regardless.
No.
Newton's
Well,
apple, I know he
it's
didn't believe
fine.
in his own theory, but wasn't it that the apple fell on his
You
head?
knew
looked
he
at the
didn't believe in
moon?
it? You did know he didn't believe in it? You did or you didn't?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube all the time. I've seen the... Occasionally you'll see videos like covering topics like this.
Yeah, so he repudiated his own theory. But his theory didn't come from, like, so people got this, okay, mass attracts mass, right? And that's why things fall and all this stuff, right? Gravity forms things to a ball and blah, 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 blah. So all those derivative ideas didn't really come from him. He only came up with the one idea where, so Kepler came up with these things called elliptical orbits, right? So they're not circle or orbits, they're ellipse. The thing about an ellipse is that it has a foci, right? So a way you can make an ellipse, right? You can take two nails, stick them in like a sheet of paper, stick them in like a board, and put a string that goes around both the nails. And then you take a pencil, stick it on the string, and if you pull that string, the pencil and string tight, and basically you can make an ellipse, this loop. But at one point the string will be around one nail and then around another nail. But the nails are the foci points. The point of all this is that Newton noticed that if there was a force that pointed at one of these foci points, that force would fall off inversely proportional to the square of the distance. And that's how he came up with his theory of gravity. It was purely geometry. It had nothing to do with any type of experiment. It had nothing to do with falling fucking apples. Nothing to do with any of that stuff. It was purely, he was a math genius. He looked at the geometry, he was like, wow, this is weird. And that's how he came up with the whole thing. It was people later that came up with all the other stuff. But it was him that came up with that original idea. But we also know now that all his crap was wrong anyway, because reasons. And I'm not going to get into that. The point is that, like, so now someone comes in here and says, gravity fucking proves the Earth's the globe. That's how they were taught in school. I was taught the same thing, but they don't know where any of this stuff comes from. So they can't really defend it. They just can't defend the idea because they don't really know the idea other than a very, very basic level. Yeah. And the reason I know it at a more than basic level is because I went back and figured out where it came from. What the history of it. Where's this idea of gravity come from? Because there was a point in time that nobody thought gravity was the thing. And there's another point, then something happened, and now everybody believes this idea. What changed, right? So that's you look for what changed, why did they have released it? And the whole gravity thing, it's just to support the idea you're upside down on a ball. Because if there's no such thing as gravity, how are you upside down on a ball? How's there people in Australia? Right? If Australia's on the bottom of the ball and we're on the top of the ball, how is there people in Australia?
Isn't that what we should be asking you?
In space, direction is not important.
Yeah, I know, but none of that works without this magical thing called gravity, does it?
Yeah, actually. No, that's correct.
Yeah, without the gravity idea, none of that works. None of it.
The absence of gravity is the only thing that applies to direction. Go on.
Isn't that what we should be asking the flat earthers? Like, how does that work?
How does what work?
Everything without gravity.
How do things fall?
Yeah.
What do you mean they fall down? I mean, how do they fall?
What does that mean? Like they just fall down? Why?
Doesn't mean anything. Nobody knows why.
I mean, we do. It's gravity.
Oh, okay. Give me the experiment that shows us why.
Can we experiment to show what?
Show the cause of things falling. Why did things fall? You said we know the cause, so surely you must have an experiment that shows the cause.
What do you mean the experiment? I mean, gravity is scientifically proven.
Yeah, just chanting some religious belief don't mean anything.
If gravity is scientifically proven, there will be an experiment. Science is a methodology that ends up with a hypothesis and an experiment based on the hypothesis.
I mean,
so
a simple experiment.
Yeah, what's the experiment if there's science?
This experiment is drop two things at the same time, they'll fall at the same rate.
Crazy.
It's not an experiment, dude. That's just you witnessing the phenomena. The next question is what causes that to happen?
Gravity.
Awesome. So can you manipulate gravity in a scientific experiment to make things fall?
So what you just told us, gravity is not only the cause, it's also the effect. Congratulations.
If you go to a vacuum and drop a feather, what happens?
It goes down. If you go to a vacuum and put gas into it, gas.
There you go, right there.
What happens in a vacuum chamber when you put the gas back in? Does that fall to the bottom? No, gas expands, so not everything falls. Well done. And it's also not an experiment. You've just observed a phenomena.
This doesn't prove anything, but sulfur hexafluoride falls.
What, in a vacuum?
I believe so. You can hold sulfur hexafluoride. Oh no, it's not buoyant. Never mind, that's my bad. It's just a heavy gas.
Alright.
Yeah, and you gotta put it in the container, dude.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Wait, so are you guys saying that no experiment has ever proved gravity?
Well, you haven't given us one, have you? We've asked you. You've tried to. Okay, what's the hypothesis for Cavendish?
I don't know, I just loved to see it.
Okay, so you don't know. You've just Googled something and thrown it at us going, ta-da! Do you know anything about the Cavendish experiment?
I mean, that it was an experiment to prove gravity.
Okay. What is the scientific method? Do you know?
I don't know how that answers the question.
Okay, so if you don't know, the answer is no, I don't know. Would you like me to tell you what
I know it's like hypothesize something, prove.
Yeah, it's a methodology. The first step is to observe something in the physical and natural world to happen. You're then going to make a prediction of what causes that to happen. Your hypothesis will be if cause, then effect. You will then actualize this hypothesis by very manipulating the thing that you think caused that thing to happen. That's what the scientific method is. So that's why we're asking you for an experiment. So the hypothesis for Cavendish. What's the naturally observed phenomena? Keep reading, dude. You'll get them.
Oh, and by the way, Cavendish was, he was claiming measuring the density of the Earth, not proving gravity.
Can you prove that?
That's what he said.
Can I prove it? Read the title of the paper.
But this whole mass attractive mass idea was superseded in 1915. Don't know whether you've heard of the guy, Albert Einstein. General special relativity, the bending and warping of a space-time fabric due to the displacement of mass. So the mass attractive mass isn't even the current scientific rhetoric. It was superseded by that fuzzy-haired guy called Einstein. Space-time, not attractive mass.
So the title says Very much that's having the great scheme of the earth.
Yeah, not grab. Oh yeah, and he was wrong. He got the wrong density. Hey, tell us when you're done using the bathroom while I'm near you. How embarrassing. Fucking weird, dude.
Did Alpha finally get off his soapbox?
Soapbox, dude. Like, you should find a shoe shine box, man, and do what you're really good at. Because it ain't this topic.
What topic?
Flat Earth, dude. So it's not an intellectual conversation, dude, and you're like chanting your faith declarations.
You wish.
You did.
Oh yeah.
I have faith in the science. I believe in science.
Yeah, so parallel rays, right?
Yeah.
You asked me you said that they proved a flat earth, right?
No, if you had two sticks far apart, and the rays, and they had cast no shadow, and the rays were parallel, that would be a flat earth.
No, you know what that means? That means the sun is really far away.
No, well, it also means it's not a ball.
No, because then if you go even further, if you go very, very far, the shadows become different, which proves it's a ball.
Oh, now they become different.
Yep.
Or
so that's yep.
The rays of light diverge.
They don't though.
How do you know that?
Like you just said, because when they're sufficiently far apart, the shadow strikes the same. So they're obviously parallel on a short scale.
No.
Yep.
I didn't say that happened. You said that happened.
I got you, dude. I got you cornered.
You said that happened. You said that happened. And I said, in your hypothetical, that would mean the Earth is flat.
You need to pay more attention, Tonga, to the shit you say.
You're backtracking now.
Yeah, because it was the conversation over an hour ago. It was your point.
Well, I'm glad I got that off my chest at least, because I know that I'm in the right.
You don't even understand the shit that you're saying.
Fake it till you make it, Twanger. Maybe that'll work. That's all you got left, really.
People always told me that, but I'm not one to fake it. I can't help it.
No. It's fake it till you make it, dude. You ain't even good at that.
I know I'm not good at that, I'll be honest with you. I'm not good at faking it.
No, you're right. You lost.
Huh?
You got cooked, bro. You tried to prove a flat Earth by accident.
Well, I'll let you think about that one.
We did. Maybe you should.
I already had the time to think about it when Alpha had me muted.
You didn't think about anything. You're just trying to think of an insult you can zing out right now before you dip out.
Sure it is.
Is he really Canadian?
I think Maticus is. That was my attempt at sounding a little bit Canadian for him.
You seem like a California guy.
I've been told I have a little bit of a Valley Girl accent, but I'm not from California.
That sounds about right. Definitely sound like a girl. Yeah.
I know, Jedi. That's what you want for me, don't you?
Don't want anything for you.
Ew, gross. No, you seem like a valley girl, though.
I know, it's funny how, like, I prop it up and then you guys knock it down. It's so fun.
I mean, the best you have to say is, like, oh my god, like, isn't what I see what it is? So I don't even know what your argument was. All that garbage just for you to be indecipherable.
Was that the best you got?
No, it was short notice. I could do better.
Yeah, try harder.
Tonga, have you got anything intelligent to say? I know that's like fucking putting it out there, but
It's
an oxymoron.
Yeah, I've expended my intellectual thoughts for today.
Man, fuck it.
That was very limited. In some circles, that limited supply equals scarcity, equals like appeal to necessity, appeal to your insatiable pleasure. But in this circumstance, it meant absolutely nothing. It's still like the meta argument whenever you're just like, hey, do you have a measurement for the globe tard curve? Or like a globe tard model? Do you have anything like that? Just all meta from there. Maybe you want to talk about vapes. Maybe vapes. Globe tards are really interesting in vapes, actually. As equally as a flat earther, so flat earthers and globe tards can come together on. Vape. What's your favorite vape? I like a nice ice shell.
Funny
Vape.
fact, I've never vaped in my life. Funny fact.
Well, would you ever put it on camera? Like when you try to be ducking? Irving? Like, I'm not gonna put this on camera. So my first vape in my life, I'm not gonna put that on camera.
What are you talking about?
I'm literally talking about what you're talking about. I'm asking you. You've never vaped. Would you vape on camera?
What does that even mean?
Never mind.
Well, is there anyone else? Welcome to the channel, 24/7 Flat Earth on the Politics channel. If anyone's got any questions, points I'd like to raise, conversations, anything like that, then don't be afraid to unmute yourself, guys. Just having a little bit of downtime at the moment. But if you're new to the channel, you want to understand why Flat Earthers say that the Earth is flat, then please unmute your microphone and you can ask that question.
I actually thought of something the other day. Satellites, we'll say satellites from the late 70s, 80s, they're still up in orbit, correct? Supposedly, they're still supposedly up to orbit.
Yeah, I'll go with that, man.
Yeah, but they sustain themselves with solar energy, correct? So our modern solar panels, they say, can only last up to 25, 30 years-ish. How long do you think satellites with solar panels from the late 70s and 80s would last? I know it's just a hypothesis, but...
It's a hypothetical.
Yeah.
Days, weeks, months, maybe a year or two. Yeah, not 30 years. I'll give it a couple of years maximum. Were you going somewhere, Marcus?
No, I just find it strange that satellites are usually one of the first references that a glober will fall back on, and yet I don't think they realize that how long their satellites could last.
Isn't that the same type of thing as Voyager 1 and Voyager 2? It wasn't supposed to last that long, but it still keep going now. Yeah, all right. I get what I think I get what you're putting down, mate.
I'm literally doing it to myself.
I have a question to any flat earther.
Shoot.
Okay, so I hate to return to the open system thing again, but you guys were asking why atoms and shit don't leave, like why gases don't leave our atmosphere.
Well, that's because they're contained.
Yeah, gravity.
No.
But I actually had.
Gravity doesn't contain gas.
Was I kicked or was that my little sister?
Sorry?
Was I kicked?
No, you're here.
No. It was... Sorry, it was my little sister.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're fine, Brickle.
I don't see gravity having any effect on gas.
I think it's specific gases, because things like helium cannot, will leave the atmosphere, because they can gain enough energy to leave and break.
Leave and go where?
The force of gravity holding them down.
Leave and go where?
Go where? Just into the vacuum of space.
So, how can that be there?
How can the vacuum of space be there?
Shouldn't all the gas leave? It's a relatively thin layer of gas enveloped by this pretty well infinite vacuum. It should pretty much all just fuck off.
Well, the force of gravity is more than it would take for those to leave.
Are you sure that gravity actually affects the vector of gas?
Yeah, it has mass.
Has this been demonstrated with an experiment?
I'd have to look for one.
You and me
I was
both,
looking at the
brother.
theory of relativity. Wait, by the way, who am I speaking to?
My name's Johnny.
Okay. I was just trying to find out, so I can remember you if I ever get the chance to speak to you again.
It's Heretic.
Yeah, Heretic. That's all. But, so, repeat what you said again?
Well, I just don't see any evidence that gravity actually affects the vector of gas. I just hear that as a claim being made, so that you can have an open system.
So, with the theory of relativity, to my understanding of it, the more mass there is in one area, the more space-time bends. You've seen the sheet thing. That would be the best way I can visualize it. But, so, gas having mass in general would make it somewhere on that sheet. And then the force of the vacuum of space ripping it out is like pulling something uphill.
Do you think that's an idea or something that's been actually practically demonstrated?
I will Google an experiment that proves the theory of relativity. And then I'll look into it. I'll mute for now, though.
Okay, sure.
Let the flames begin.
勉強は不利だが、この苦境こそ俺たちの力の見せ所だ。
あそこが敵の要塞だ。俺様たちで落としてやろうぜ。私の知略に勝てるとお思いか。
違うか。かわせるか。助かりましたぞ。もう俺がしたか。
I mean, this dude is just dying for the stupidest fucking reasons, man. He's literally dying for the dumbest reasons.
背中ガラ空きの敵どもに力だけじゃねえってこと教えてやるぜ。
そ我が奇跡を見る時。行くんならもっとできる。違うか。
体勢は整った。もう一度出るぞ。
に乱を収める傑物
I just need to ask something real quick. From, I guess, Heretic. Out of curiosity, does everyone believe that gas has no mass? Or is Jenna Massey rage baiting me?
Depends what mass is.
I don't know how to explain it. Just the term mass, the same way that a rock has mass, the same way that a solid or a liquid has mass.
Yeah, but what the heck
occupies
is
space.
Yeah, what's mass?
Mass is whatever occupies space, correct? Like occupies a specific volume and is made up of atoms.
Okay, something made up of atoms. So matter, basically.
Yeah, matter. All matter has mass, I think.
I would say that gas is matter, yeah.
Yeah. I was just confused because they were saying that gas is massless. Density. They said it has... I'm sure they can hear me. Jenna, you know density is how much mass is in a specific volume, like how much matter is in a specific volume, right? And mass is the measure of, like... Actually, I can't fucking say that, I don't know. What does gas measure? I'm doing something, 1 second.
No problem.
Jenna, that's how stars form. Gravity condenses mass into a very tiny volume. That's what stars are. They're helium and hydrogen, and then other heavy metals if they're population too. Gas has gravity. And if gravity applies to anything with mass, it
applied to gas.
And that's even an outdated version of gravity because it can also apply to photons.
Gravity applies to photons, which are massless, you said. Or I mean,
Yeah,
you said
it can bend
applies
light.
to mass. Photons are massless. What the heck is gravity?
The curve of space.
Okay, the curve of space. Any way to directly vary and manipulate that to show that it actually applies to anything?
Well, I mean, without saying something that's gonna lead to another question. Elaborate your question.
Well, is there any experiment for gravity?
Experiment for gravity?
Yeah.
I mean, sure. The Parker Solar Probe, it swung around the sun because of gravity.
Oh my god. That's not an experiment.
It's not officially an experiment, but it happened because of gravity.
That's a cool story.
Alright, that's fair. That's a fair argument, I guess.
How am I supposed to know any of that happened, or that even if it did, it was due to gravity? I.e. the bending and warping of space-time.
I'll leave space out of it then. There's...
Yeah, because you're invoking that too. Another thing in contention. Other space. Yeah, but go ahead.
No, I'm not trying to be rude.
I know, I'm not saying that.
Jenna's still saying gas is massless. Regardless. I wouldn't say dropping things. That's not a fair thing, especially given that that's just too dumb of an
Dropping
argument.
things just ain't enough.
Well, experiment.
Yeah, it's really hard to do any like experiments with gravity, given that something has to have incredibly large mass to attract other objects in a noticeable way. Because I can't bring up an argument with, like, I guess moons, the way Venus's moons orbit it, not ours, but Venus's moons orbit in a way that coincides with general relativity, or sorry, gravitational relativity.
So it fits a model.
It does fit a model.
Okay, but that's not. You know, you haven't necessarily confirmed the cause of what's going on with Venus. Just compared it to a model and gone, okay, that's consistent. No, it's a concept of what could be happening. Is it empirically verified, though?
Not say it's empirically verified, sorry.
Yeah.
Zach, do you know what a reification fallacy is?
Say again?
Do you know what a reification fallacy is?
Is that circular reasoning?
No, a reification fallacy, it's also known as the fallacy of misplaced concretism. It's when you take non-physical things like love, hate, height, width, length, and give them physical entity. So it's taking non-physical things and giving them physical attributes. So when we speak about Einstein's gravitational relativity, we understand that's a reification fallacy because space, height, width, length isn't physical, and time in and of itself is not physical. It's a mathematical concept based on a reification fallacy, giving these things physical properties that within the mass can distort and bend.
Quite sure about time. I do know that space, or at least in the realm of quantum physics, does have a physical property. It does. The vacuum of space, the reason there's like wave-particle duality is to have waves. There's an ocean. Crazy. Waves. So like the implication of waves. The only way it can be visualized is like imagine as if space was an ocean. Though space is a substance of sort. I don't remember its name though.
Yeah, some people like to invoke an ether point. Just trying to point out to you that a coordinate system, 3 dimensions, height, width, length, have no physical properties in and of themselves. We have to invoke that it is a physical medium, and then we start invoking things like ether. But the concept.
No, you go ahead. You weren't done.
Yeah, I'm done, mate. You carry on.
Okay. Einstein's theory of relativity, how does it fall under that?
It's a reification. Space and time are not physical entities. Height, width, length isn't physical, it's just a coordinate, height, width, length. And time, that's not physical. It's giving non-physical things physical attributes. That's why it's called a fabric, the fabric of space-time. Space-time is now physical. Though within the mathematics, the displacement of mass can distort this now reified space-time fabric. It's mathematical, dude. It's not science.
Fair enough. I believe, doesn't math tend to have a way to prove scientific theories like that? Because I don't think math can lie.
Yeah, you can abstract mathematics from science, but mathematics and science are not the same things. Science is hypothesis based in the physical and natural world, where we try and figure out what caused stuff to happen through an experiment. Mathematics aren't experiments. I get what you're saying, though. I just want you to understand that they're not the same thing.
Yeah, I understand. So, if I was to try to use it as a proof via, like, with Venus and its moons, is that not Is that fall under the fallacy?
Yeah, if you're going to use the mathematical abstraction to create a model to give quote unquote reasons is why things move.
Don't hesitate. Kill.
Ghost Shadow.
Fade into the darkness. Death by 1,000 cuts. It is done.
Lightsabers, bro. You alright, Denver? Plastic.
Oh yeah, ours were like plastic, but me and my little sister got some. They had like these little light up